Morning folks, bit of a rainy day out here today I'm afraid, but I was going to do a bit of work in the log cabin, but someone's beat me to it.
You are still doing a bit of work in the log cabin.
Oh, here we go. I was going to start to strip down the Reliant Regal engine, but I've just been told that he's got his lawnmower in here, he's got a Honda Izy, which needs repair. And that reminds me as well, I need to repair the lights in here, look. It's getting a bit dark. I think I've got one up here that flickers every now and again, haven't I?
That one does.
Yeah. So that's got to be looked at. So today looks like a bit of a tinkering video, folks. How far you got with this? What's the problem with it?
Well, I've dragged it out the polytunnel. I've put this new handle on up here because that was broke. You can see that was all taped up. That one was replaced from MMXXII. He sent me a couple of them.
Luke
MMXXII.
Hiya, Luke.
So yeah, I've managed to sort them out because these cables weren't working.
Right.
And yesterday I noticed someone had tied that back there, the throttle, the brake.
Okay.
With a cable, so I've snipped that.
Is that the air filter out of it?
That's the air filter.
Don't you know, that's not had some, not been maintained for a while. You feeling it?
No, it's bone dry in there.
Right, well that could be the float bowl letting by. They're normally, when they're bone dry in there, folks, it's normally someone's left the, hold on, let's turn it round here. Someone's left the fuel tap on these type of carburetors. Fuel's been going into the carburetor, and the only thing stopping the fuel from leaking out or overflowing is the little needle valve that sits under the float or where the top of the float is. And a lot of times you get a bit of crap underneath them, and the petrol seeps past, fills the float bowl up, float doesn't cut it off, and then you get water seep, sorry, not water, you get your fuel seep all the way out until it drains right out of the tank, being the highest part. So, and normally you don't see it there because it all evaporates if you just left it in storage, but it has all come out, and that's normally signification of a totally dry, bone dry petrol tank. Anyway, this was off, but we don't know the history of this.
I did try and fire it yesterday on a bit of easy start, but it didn't want to even fire, so...
Right, well let's try that again now.
I've checked spark, it did have spark.
Right, so you've got spark there.
We'll check it again for camera as well.
Right, okay, we'll do that now then. So normally these Hondas are very, very reliable. We're just going to put that in circuit. That's a little flash tester. Stick that in the line between the spark plug. Right, okay, so that's there. So he's just going to pull that over and we'll see if we've got a spark there. There's no spark there. Yeah, it should be making a connection, shouldn't it?
In fact, that weren't the plug I had in yesterday. That's a different plug.
Try that again.
That one not sparking.
No spark there at all.
I put the original back in. That was sparking.
Right. He's okay. I didn't know that he changed the plug already. So.
This is what come out of it. Look.
Right. Well, that's a bit oily, isn't it?
But this was sparking.
Right. Well, let's try that one then. Take that one out. Where's that? Is that a new plug?
It's not. It was a known good one that I took out of a mower I stripped.
Right. So hopefully. You say you check that sparking, because basically if you've got spark, you've got compression, and you've got fuel. We had fuel in the way of...
Smell the easy start on it.
Eh?
Smell easy start on
right, okay. You've got all them things, and you've got spark at the right time. We should have a running engine. So again, process of elimination, folks. Just do your checks at the end of the day. First thing to check is if you've got spark. Next thing, you've got fuel. Got both of them things. Or if it's not starting, it could be either a compression issue or an issue with the sparking at the right time. In other words, it could have a flywheel shear which causes it to spark at the wrong time. Go on in. Right, I can see a spark there now.
That's done then. I will get rid
right,
of that.
so get rid of that one. Hang that up in the bin. Right, now we've got spark. We're going to temporarily... Yeah, I'll pull that out, I can't do it with one hand. Put that spark plug cap back on. We know it's not a new plug, but we know it is sparking all right as well. If there was an issue with that plug, you wouldn't get that spark there, folks. So that shows that we have got a sufficient enough gap. So all we're going to do now is squirt this Easy Start into the intake. So if I come around the other side,
I think the choke's on. It's shut, I think.
is the choke open now? Yeah, choke's open now. So in through there. Right, shut the choke. Now try that again. Right, we got spark. Oh, hello, that fired then.
No, that was my fist hitting the wall.
Oh, was it? Right, Okay, so we've got no spark. Next thing to do, we're going to do a compression test on it. Whip that plug out again. We'll just check whether we've got compression, because what could have also happened is the valves might not be opening and shutting correctly, or they could be opening and not shutting. In other words, you're losing compression. So we do a compression test first before we start taking things apart. These are all checks you can do before you start getting the spanners out. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, this is my compression tester, and all we're going to do is wind that into the spark plug hole. There is another theory I'm working on here as well, which we'll go to in a minute. I just want to check this first. Normally when you do a check like this, you have the accelerator or the throttle in the open position, so you need air going in for air to be sucking out. So we'll just see what this is doing first of all. That's on 0 now. We're looking at something above 90 psi. Right, keep going. Right, okay, so we got about 70, we've got 85 psi there. So technically speaking, that should be enough to start it. So let's wind that out a minute. The only other thing I can think of is that maybe you said this was pulled over here or something, didn't you?
That was cable tied right back.
Yeah.
Because they're saying that was broken, so none of the handles worked.
Right,
so
okay.
Put a bit of tension.
Now I'd be interested to find out whether this throttle is this. Have you had this apart at all?
No, I've not touched nothing.
Because there's something not quite right here.
A bit loose, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm thinking if it's got a massive air leak where it's sucking in air, that could be another issue as well. So I'm just trying to turn the throttle position at the back there. You can't see that, folks. And that throttle looks like it's stuck. So first things to do, we're going to get this carb off, or definitely take this off. This definitely ain't right there. Something's not right there, look. Someone's obviously been in here. So it's a little 10mm. Something isn't quite right here, people. So I'm not going to go down the road of it not sparking at the right time yet until I know that the carburation is absolutely fine and we're getting everything we need to in the way of fuel going in. I tend to loosen this one off as well. Just gives you a bit more play. That's it, just leave them like that. Just loosen that one off as well. You ain't got to take that one right out. Just do it a couple of turns. And the reason why I do that, people, it just gives you that bit of extra play there, look, where you can move things in and out. Now, as you can see, that's the throttle body there, which is now working. I can now turn that, you see, that before that was stuck, that was solid, sticking on the back there or something. So now we've done that, we can now pull that off, like that. That's the air filter out of the way. There's the first one there, folks, is always the choke. This one is the throttle. So pulling that forward, which you can easily do now, you then want to just unhook them there. So you can undo that there now. You can just lever them out, that's right. Make a note of which one, that goes on the inside one there, folks. Make a note of which ones they come off of.
I might have to take that petrol hose off.
Yep, you've got to unclip the petrol hose down the bottom there. Which is always very awkward on these things, folks. Let's just move that out of the way, look. They're terrible little clips, them ones. You normally end up buckling them and putting a new clip on them. Absolutely hate them ones. Yeah, you probably have to twist that first. Break the seal. There we go. There you go. So you'll be able to unhook that second one now. And you also got the little spring there, the retaining spring as well. So there you go, that's that out of the way. Okay, there's your back heat reflector plate there. Take that out of the way. Right, okay, now we're at that stage, just try and drop a squirt in there again. Do you want to put the plug back in? Go on in. Try that again. Nothing. Nothing in there at all. Right, okay. So now we're going to have to take it to the next stage, and that is possibly make sure that the spark is sparking at the right time, which means we've got to take this cover off now and find out whether the flywheel key has possibly sheared, causing the timing to go out. Because we know we've got spark, and we know we've got fuel, but it might be sparking at the wrong time. So we're going to take that off now, and we'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so we've just taken that cover off. It's only them 3 bolts there. That's your centre there for your flywheel nut, and as you can see, that lever there, what was being held back there, was the actual brake pad, which is, as you can see on this one, it's not actually stopping the engine from turning at all. The brake is worn completely down, so it didn't make no difference whatsoever, the person holding that back there. Anyway, so we're going to do that now. Right, go on in. There we go. That's it. There we go, folks. Right, so we're about to lift that off now, and hopefully see if there is a problem with the ignition. So Gary's just going to lift that off. You'll have a little woodruff key in there, which is there, which appears to be okay. Oh, hello. Which appears to be okay on that, doesn't it? We'll just get a bit of a cloth. Hold on, I'll give that a bit of a wipe over. Looking at that, someone's been in here before. As you can see, they've put some marks on there for some reason. Not too sure what that's for. Maybe the is that where the magnets are? You've got magnets there. Is
One, two.
Don't know. Strange, isn't it? Well, that appears to be okay. So normally these have got like aluminium type keys in, so they shear. But this appears to have just a standard woodruff key in. Right, so we're just going to plonk that back on. So I try and drop that on with that key in place. Okay, then put the nut back on. And we'll just zip that up to hold it on. There we go. Okay, so that's that back on. So we can put that on now and eliminate that from the equation. So although we had a spark there, I'd be tempted to try a new spark plug in there.
Okay.
Right, so we're just taking that one out again, folks. It's not the best one, but we've taken it out of the other lawnmower. And we're just going to put another known spark plug in. Again, this was the one that come with it, so this could have had a fault with it under compression. So we're hopefully going to eliminate that now. We'll do a spark test on there again. Put the spark tester on there, just to make sure, because you never know. There we go. And I'm going to keep an eye on that while you just gently pull that. Nothing. Right, one of the other things to check as well is whether or not the kill switch is actually working. So although, Gary, you was pulling that lever back up there, and trying to start it, what you can see down here, people, is that the actual arm isn't making contact with the kill switch, which in other words, it's not activating the spark to the engine. So obviously make sure that this is working beforehand. So what we're going to do now is check whether or not we've got a working switch there, because that lever is definitely not working, and that could be due to the cable stretching or it being in the wrong position. See, that's pulled fully across there. That's nowhere near touching that there. So that's why I don't think we've got spark. So what we're going to have to do is to find out why. I don't think that cable looks like it's stretched. Is there another hole on these things here? Are we on the right arm? That's the next thing as well, because the first one is the
second one's drive, isn't it?
Yeah, the second one is for drive. Some of these have multiple holes on them, but the cable has frayed in places. So right, we're going to try and get this working correctly, folks, and find out why that isn't reaching there. So we'll come back to you in a minute once we've done a bit of diagnosis. Right, well, we don't think it's the wrong cable or anything like that, but we think that when you got this, did this have levers on it, or? Yeah,
so that was snapped. So this front one was just
flopping, so he just put it back as it come up. We've got another set of handles here, and if you can see, the brake handle is on the inside and sits on the outside. Well, this one here is on the inside, but it goes on the inside, so I don't think you're getting the throw there. No. Possibly for that could be for the drive, so something's not quite right here. When you pull that cable in, you're getting no throw really on that cable, so I think that it's possibly the configuration's wrong here. Then when we had a spark was because that had been tied back operating the kill switch, which was why we had a spark but we didn't have any firing. So we're just going to play about with that for a minute and we'll come back to you. Right, okay then, so we've changed the configuration of the handles up there, so let's have a look here now. There we go, that's now, go on, do it again. Right, that's now pulling that switch in, which it wasn't doing before, but now what we need to check is whether or not this switch is actually working. So all I'm going to do there is disconnect that terminal off of there like that. This is the one that goes to the coil. So let's just take that off there like that. I've got me meter here. So I'm going to put one on there and one down to earth. Can you roll it down inside? Look, I can't see it. And I'm going to operate the switch. And there you go. Open circuit, close circuit. Open circuit, close circuit. So we know the switch is working okay. So that means that cable can go back on there. Like that. That cable goes along, down and up to your coil. So that when it's in that position, that is a dead short. Putting a short to your coil, which stops your spark. And when you push that spark, it opens that cable, breaks the cable, which means that is then allowed to spark. And all that comes from that little screw there. If I just undo that and show you, this is the fixing screw to that switch. If I undo that, just lift that up. There we go. And where that screw goes through, if I turn that over, you can see that copper plate there, which I've already cleaned by the way, folks. That makes contact with that there, which I've also given a clean to. And that shorting out in that position with the switch in the open position like that, that shorts that cable down to chassis or down to earth, which in turn stops your mower from sparking. So just something to be aware of there. There is no adjustment on that switch. So if your mower continues running for whatever reason, make sure that switch is not stuck in or broken at all. And also, if your mower won't start or you've got no spark, ensure that your handle up there is pulling that over enough to allow the spark to get to your spark plug via the coil. Right, all put back together. We've got the spark thing on again now. Let's just see if we've got spark now. 100% spark. Right, now I'm quite confident that by squirting some Easy Start just in the intake there, that could fire, go on it. Happy days. Happy days, how about that? So now we know that we've got a running lawnmower. Didn't need a carb on to do that, folks, as you can just see. So that's a very quick test you can do.
You can have a look in the carb.
But we can have a look in the carb because you've taken the cover of it off, haven't you?
That's what come out, it's not even petrol.
That's, what's that, water?
That's just...
Now showing the inside of that carb. This is what happens when you buy old lawnmowers. Can you see the state of that, folks? That emulsion tube there, look. That is covered in gunk and grot. And even if you look down in there, that main jet in there is absolutely horrid. It's got so much crap in it. So realistically, that's going to need an ultrasonic clean. And then it's just a matter of servicing the carb up if you can. If not, it'll have to be an exchange carb. But this lawnmower, as you can see, fired up now. We've diagnosed the problem and now we can move forward. So always make sure all your ancillaries are working and don't take for granted that when you bought a second-hand mower, other people have been in there, because as you saw, the handles was in the wrong configuration there. And it was a simple matter of we couldn't get a spark. And that's why someone had gone to the trouble of putting a bit of cable tie around there, wasn't there, you said?
Yeah, cable tied it right
back.
Yeah,
stopping that, thinking that that was an issue with the actual cable when it wasn't. It was just that the mechanism was wrong. And there you go. Testing the carbs out, simple job. Just squirt some Easy Start in there or some brake cleaner will even do the job. You can't be doing that too much with a two-stroke, by the way, because when you squirt brake cleaner in to start these little engines up, there's no lubrication in them, and two-strokes rely on a fuel mixture with oil and fuel, petrol or whatever.
Oh, I've got a carb.
And you can, eh?
I've got a carb.
Where you get a carb from?
I got one off the other engine.
Get your hands off of that, that's mine. What are you doing?
Try looking in.
He's trying to nick my carb, look.
That's my engine. He done me.
Well, we know that was a runner because I was using that lawnmower.
That's nice, just having a look though.
Perfect. Look at it, look, clean and out, look.
Might use that.
Well, go on in, I'll let you use it.
I'll let you use it.
I was going to use that engine and set up on my blinking trotter van mower. But now it looks like you stole it back off me.
Well no, we'll clean that one, it's back together then, isn't it? I'll have a new carb on it.
Although, to be honest with you, I have nicked parts off of these lawnmowers before.
We've got another Honda engine there.
You keep your hands off of that one, that's mine. Anyway, I want this all cleared, folks, because I want to start working on the trotter engine again. get that stripped down, get that down to an engineering shop, get the cylinder head refurbished, and also the bores rehoned, and possibly new rings to go in. Well, it will be new rings as well to go into that. Anyway, go on in. I'll let you put that carb on. You don't need my help for that. And we'll come back to you folks and see what happens when we go to start it. Right, just going to put the carb back on folks, and we also realised that this bit was missing. That's why the air filter was all wobbly. So we've got one of these, we nicked it off the other carb. Got a little hole there and a little groove there. That lines up with a little hole on the back of the carb, so that goes on that way. Breather hose to go back on as well. I've already put the fuel line on. So hopefully now, by putting that back on there like that...
Oh, I suppose I better get a bit of fuel then.
And nick my fuel again.
You got some?
You know very well I've got some. So just tighten that up. Again, it still needs a good service, this, but it just shows you bits missing when people have been playing about. So just do that up like that. There you go. I'm just going to nip that one up again, because I'll loosen that off to make life easier. He's gone and got a new air filter, so we'll just drop that in for the moment. This all will have to come off again and be clean, but it's just a matter of putting this on for the moment. There we go. So just stick that in there. While he nicks my fuel. Yeah.
No leaks?
Don't appear to be. I've put the fuel line on back there, so that's all on.
That should be enough.
Right, so I'm going to open up the fuel line now. Bone dry under there. Just enough to wet its whistle. Oh, yeah. So now, just check underneath, tip that back so I can see there's nothing laying underneath there. Always make sure that, people, I've had screwdrivers sucked under there before. No, we're all safe, everything's okay there. Go on in, try that.
Blade on it?
Hey?
A blade on it?
There's a blade on there, yes. So let's just see how this goes. Go on in. Fired, didn't it? How about that? Does the drive work? So there you go folks, that's an old mower which was bought for spares and repairs. It had a few issues with it. Someone had a look at it, made a few alterations to it, but the bottom line is that if you've got a set procedure for seeing how these things work, and also having some spares for a certain type of mower, then hopefully you can get them running like we've got this one running. He's left me now with a blinking old carburetor, which I've got to clean up for that engine over there, but that's life. We're on to live another day with this mower once it's had a good old service. And
lay it down.
Hey?
Let the table down.
Let the table down. So
I'll clear the table for you now.
unbelievable, isn't he? Fucking hell. So just lower that down. Oh, it's the wrong one, isn't it? Hey, so let's just lower that down. Bring it down to floor level. Get him out of my workshop. Then maybe I can do a bit of work. There you go folks, just a bit of a tinkering video, that one. Nothing was planned, nothing was expected there. And just to show you that we are still doing stuff in here now, and hopefully be out here a lot more in the near future. Thanks very much, we'll see you in the next video, and until then, bye for now. Get off my land.
I'll do it.